How's it going? This is just a short video, just to kind of update on the garage, where it's at. So the videos I put out recently on the AE82 project were probably 6-7 months ago now, since that's finished. And so a bit's changed on that car since that was filmed. A few things have changed, a few things have been found that aren't great. But yeah, it's still going. But then I've got a couple of other cars since, and some stuff has changed on the other cars you've seen before. So have a watch of this video, get an update on my Corolla collection and the future plans, I guess. But yeah, enjoy. So a few updates on this car in the last 6 months. I think the videos I uploaded recently of the build process, that kind of finished up around the end of the start of the year, so around January. It's July now, so a bit more has been done on the 82. Just kind of fine tuning it. So it's got these OZ Rally Racing 14-inch wheels now, which I've kind of settled on as like the wheels for the car. I tried 15s on it that I think I had in some of the thumbnails, and they just scrubbed too much in the front with how low I've got it, and I don't want to kind of roll my fronts or take the liners off. So 14s have just kind of been where I've landed, and I really like these wheels, so it kind of works out perfectly. Some other stuff that we've done on the car, so got this fixed back Sparko Rev in the driver's seat at the moment, strictly for track use only. Promise, definitely doesn't ever go out on the road with that seat in it, wink wink. But then we've also got this, I have a driver's seat of this as well. It's a AE101 FX GT Jap import seat, modified to fit in the 82. They're really comfortable, but like the problem is the base kind of sits really high, so in the driver's seat it's not really like the best seating position. So that's kind of why the driver's seat isn't in there as well. But of course comes back for street use. And then the last thing that's kind of changed since we finished it up was like a recent addition. I didn't realize you could still buy these brand new. We've got Cusco rear strut brace, brand new from Japan, which was rad. Didn't realize you could still get them, but yep, brand new piece. Chucked that in the other week. Don't know if it does really anything, but it's cool to have it. Yeah, the other thing with this car really is, since driving it for the last 6 months, have come to realize that the motor isn't as healthy as I hoped. The engine burns a fair bit of oil, but I don't drive it much, so it's manageable. But it's really rich, but it burns oil, so it's like I need to kind of get the tune redone to fix how rich it is, because it runs so fucking rich. But I don't want to get that done while it's burning enough oil that it doesn't really make sense to get the tune looked at. But yeah, so at the moment the plans for this are to source another 20 valve, swap the motor, the hope that the swapped motor is better, and then rebuild this one. And then the plans for the rebuild is probably just like an OEM rebuild. I'm probably not going to go crazy on it. But yeah, so at the moment I've just been driving it. It's been great fun. It handles perfectly. The car is great. I love it. It's perfect. It just burns oil and it runs rich. But we'll fix them eventually. But for now, it's just a good car to have fun in. Alright, so next up, I don't know if I've ever really spoken much about this car yet. I know it's been in the background in videos, but I don't think I've really ever talked on about it much. So this is my other AE93 SX hatch. It's probably my best / most valuable car in the collection, I guess. Like, it's really original. Doesn't really have low Ks. Like, it's on 220,000 Ks, which I guess is low for how old these cars are, but it's in really good condition. There's like no real rust in it, which is really good. There's a bit of like paint panels that aren't perfectly matched. Like, you can kind of see the difference in the rear quarter versus the door, but it's nothing major. I've had this car for a couple of years. It's probably like comes out every couple of weeks. It's a fabulous car to drive. It's really original. So when I bought this car, it was super original. Like, it only had lowered springs in it, like King's AE92 lows. Since I've bought it, tried to keep it mostly original too. So I've got these wheels on it. I bought these wheels for the 82, but they scrubbed too much on the 82. And so I've chucked them on this, and I think they're perfect on this car. I think they look great. They look better on this than they did on the 82. So I'm super happy with them on here. I've got Salem semi-slicks on it, which drive great. The only thing I've done in the engine bay is I've got another brand new Cusco brace to do like the triangle bracing. And I had to replace the radiator because the original radiator cracked. But apart from that, everything in here is original. The only thing I've done to the motor is just maintenance, like timing belt, water pump, dizzy rebuild, nothing crazy. Like, it's even still got all the stock air intake, stock exhaust, like the whole exhaust front to back is stock. It still has the stock twin tip muffler there, so it's super quiet. Yeah, this is just a really nice car to drive because it doesn't drone. It's like the closest to like what a new car feels like in everything I've got. And yeah, it's great. I have no real plans to modify this anymore. Like, I want to keep it relatively original. Oh, the only other mod I've done is I've got the 11 seats in it because like I just need them for how tall I am in these cars. Like, the 11 seats sit perfectly, and I think they fit the trim pretty good. I still have the original front seats. They're just upstairs wrapped in plastic. If I ever do sell the car, I'll put them back on, but I have no plans to sell it. But yeah, that's my AE92 SX hatch. Oh, the only other thing I've done is I've got a white line sway bar in the rear. Handles really good. I changed the springs, so I put AE82 lowering springs in it. So I put the springs that came with that parts car in this car. So it's got AE82 springs, which lowered it about an extra inch, which is equivalent to like a super low for one of these. But yeah, I have no plans to modify it more than that. I might do an exhaust, but I don't know. Like, it is really nice how quiet it is. But at the same time, when you're driving it, because of how quiet it is, it doesn't feel fast. Even though it's as fast as any of the other ones I've got. I mean, they're not fast cars, I guess, but like, it would be nice to kind of hear it a little bit more when you're like kind of churning through the gears. But yeah, that's the hatch. This dog, I'm still dailying the seca. The engine we rebuilt over, a year and a half ago. Still going strong. I think there's about 30,000 Ks on this motor now since we built it. And yeah, no issues. You might remember from one of the other videos I mentioned that the rear main started leaking pretty recently, like pretty quickly after rebuilding it. Finally, in the last kind of few months, got around to pulling the gearbox out, Crank had a ridge on it, so we sleeved the crank to give it a nice new fresh face. And yeah, it's been fine since. It's a bit of a power steering leak, but I can't be fucked fixing that. Car runs great. I daily it. It's perfect. I mean, it rusts and it's drony and it's like a bit fucking loud sometimes, but I still love dailying it. It's a great car. The rust is just getting worse and worse, like this rust here. But yeah, apart from that, it still does everything you want it to do. The AC works. Recently put a new head unit, new speakers in it, so the sound's all good. Motor rips. I recently just picked up these equips. So I did have these Lensos on the car, and I bought these equips. They came up locally, and I was like, yep, want them. They had brand new Hankook RS4s. So yeah, got them on at the moment. I might take them off and save them for summer driving pretty soon, but like I think they look pretty great on the Seca. I think they'd look best on the Seca out of all of the cars I've got. I don't think they'd fit the 82 because they've got like a bit of a staggered offset. I think they'd sit too proud of the guards, or they'd scrub really bad. And I think they look better on the Seca body shape than on the hatch. I might chuck them on the hatch eventually just to see what they look like, but I'm pretty happy with them on the Seca. But yeah, another Cusco brace. When I realised you could buy them brand new, I bought 2 of the front braces and 1 of the rear brace. Can't buy rear braces for these. This one already has a rear brace, which is good, but I don't have a rear brace in the other one. But yeah, love this car. Still going strong. It's a piece of shit, but it's my piece of shit. And yeah, it's still great fun. But yeah, you've probably seen in the background of all the other clips, this one sitting here. So this is the latest addition to the collection and the next project. So this is an AE94 or 96 or whatever it is, RV. So it's similar to that one in the fact that it's a Seca. It's got all of the upgraded body trims, like it's got the spoiler, it's got the rear discs, it's got the front sway bar, like it's got all those kind of bits and pieces. It's an EFI car, so it's on the upper end of the scheme, but it's a 7A. It's a 1.8 litre 7A FE, and it's automatic, which isn't ideal. But yeah, that's the newest one. So I kind of regret buying this car. I paid a bit too much for it. The guy drove it down from really far away, and I hadn't seen it, and didn't realise kind of how mismatched, like the bonnet you can see is wrapped, because I don't know what's under that, but it doesn't really match the paint very well. Same as the roof. There's some like sketchy resprays around it. It's not the best. There's some like bad bodywork done in this arch where it's been hit. Like, yeah, it's not great. But anyway, we'll get there. So since I've bought it, I put lowered springs in it, and got a bit happy with the angle grinder. So it's got like AE82 lows in the back, which is the same as that car, but because this is a Seca, it's got more weight in the back, so it sits lower. And then it's got like an AE93 low front spring, but it's had like about 3/4 of a coil cut. It's sitting mostly even, might need to come down a bit more in the front. But anyway, the plan for this car, because it's the next project, is to combine the motor that's in it with the head on that one. So a small port 7A GE, and then use the spare parts that came with the parts car I bought for that engine swap that were made for a turbo. So I've got a TD04 turbo manifold, and I've got AE93 SX wiring with a piggyback ECU, a Grady E-manage to run boost. So the plan is to fucking jam it all into this car and see if it pops, or see how long until it pops, I guess is the better question, because it will pop. So turbo, I picked up a fucking dirt cheap max peating TDO4 for $100, brand new. So I'll chuck that on. My only issue at the moment I'm thinking is like TDO4, I don't know what the gate pressure is on a TDO4, I think it's around 10 PSI. And if I just drop that head on that block with no change of internals, I think they sit around 10-to-1 compression. So I think 10-to-1 with, I don't know, like 10 or more PSI might be a recipe for disaster. So I'm trying to think about whether I can get like an aftermarket wastegate with like a lighter spring, or like change my manifold to get an external gate put onto it. And I'm trying to do it as cheap as fucking possible. But yeah, so plan is I've got an AE112 sitting behind the shed. It's manual. I need to get that in here, strip the box out of it and the motor, and whatever else I want to pull out of it, and then mock up the turbo on that block, or mock up that head on that block with the turbo, get the lines run and all that kind of shit, figure out how I'm going to do it. Then pull that one out and use that block, because that block's only done 160,000 Ks, where the one out the back has done 100 or done 300,000 Ks. So this block's healthier. So I'll use that block. And yeah, the plan is to just 7A bottom end, no change, 7A pistons, 7A rods, 7A crank, everything, and then just fucking see what happens. Yeah. And then if it all goes well, I drive it for a while and I fix up the body damage on this car and I get this car good and happy with it, and then it blows up, the plan is to probably body swap this just small port driveline into that car, because yeah, the rust in this thing is eating it away. But alternatively, if this goes well and it's pretty safe, drive this for a while, take this off the road and fix the rust. But yeah, that's kind of an update on the garage at the moment. No more cars. I have too many cars. I can't buy any more. So if I want to buy any more, one's got to go. If I'm going to sell anything, it'll probably be that one, because I haven't started on it yet, because that car, too sentimentally attached. That car, way too sentimentally attached. And that car starting to get quite sentimentally attached since I've lowered it and put it on 15s. I'm way happier with that car. I think it looks so much fucking nicer. But yeah, that's an update. Eventually I'll get some content out about this car, I hope. But yeah, if you're in Adelaide, you'll probably see me ripping around in this at some point. Give me a wave. If you see me at Cars and Coffee, say hello. But yeah, easy. See you soon.